Some crashes happen so fast, yet the damage lasts forever. These moments shock the world. Massive impacts, chaos everywhere, and lives changed in seconds. From fiery wrecks to unbelievable mistakes, these are not just accidents. They are warnings. What caused them? And could they have been stopped? The answers are chilling, and we're kicking things off with pure chaos. Zhou Guanyu at Silverstone. If you missed this one, just imagine a car sliding upside down for hundreds of feet at top speed. That's not an exaggeration. Zhou's car got flipped before they even made it through turn 1. He skidded upside down into the gravel, launched over the tire barrier, and crashed into the fencing. The kind of place cars are never supposed to go. For a terrifying few minutes, no one even knew if he was conscious. The car was jammed between the fence and the barrier like a crushed soda can. But somehow, he walked away. Why? One word: Halo. That little titanium ring that once got mocked just saved another life. But Zhou wasn't the only one who stared death in the face and lived to tell the tale. Flashback to 2001. Spa. Luciano Burti. This crash is burned into F1 history for one terrifying reason. It nearly ended his life. Burti went full speed into the wall. We're talking 170 miles per hour. The hit registered 111 Gs. For context, fighter pilots black out at 9 Gs. Burti hit 12 times that. The car folded into the barrier and his helmet actually cracked. He suffered a brain hemorrhage and was nearly in a coma. He survived. But barely. He never raced in F1 again. But this wasn't just a tragic end to a career. It triggered real change. Tracks began covering tire barriers with blankets to stop cars from being swallowed into them. That one crash forced F1 to rethink what safe even means. Now fast forward to 2009. Hungary, Felipe Massa. This one didn't look crazy at first, but it was. Massa got knocked out cold while going 160 miles per hour by a tiny piece of flying debris. A spring flew off Rubens Barrichello's car, smashed into Massa's helmet, and he drove straight into a wall with zero control. He was unconscious the whole time. You don't forget that sound. The engine screaming while the driver's out cold. Massa was hospitalized for days, had multiple surgeries, and missed the rest of the season. He came back, but honestly, he never looked the same. And this crash, it lit the fire that would lead to stronger helmets, better visors, and eventually the Halo. Yeah, the same device that saved Zhou 13 years later. But if you think Massa's crash was bad, wait until you hear what happened to Jules Bianchi. Because this one didn't have a miracle ending. Jules Bianchi. That name hits different, because this was the crash that stopped the F1 world in its tracks. Japan, 2014. It was pouring, raining so hard you could barely see 10 feet ahead. Most sports would have been called off, but not Formula One. They kept racing, and that's when things went horribly wrong. Adrian Sutil crashed at one corner. So they brought out a crane tractor to remove his car, but no safety car, just yellow flags. One lap later, Jules Bianchi lost control at the exact same spot and slammed straight into the crane. Not another car, not a wall, a crane. A 6.5-ton metal machine. It was like crashing into a building. His car stopped instantly. The impact was so violent it hit him with over 250 Gs. That's not just high, that's unthinkable. Jules was taken to the hospital, unconscious. He stayed in a coma for 9 months, and then, at just 25 years old, he passed away. It was the first F1 death since Ayrton Senna in 1994. And here's the brutal truth: that crash should never have happened. The emergency helicopter couldn't even fly because of the storm. The track was way too wet. There was no safety car. It was a disaster waiting to happen. And it did. After that day, F1 finally woke up. They brought in the virtual safety car to slow cars down instantly during dangerous moments, and they took the Halo, which was already in discussion, and made it non-negotiable. Jules' crash didn't just break hearts, it forced the sport to grow up, and it wouldn't be the last time the Halo saved a life. Let's jump to 2018. Belgian Grand Prix, first corner, carnage. Nico Hülkenberg misjudged his braking and slammed into Alonso's car, launching it straight into the air. Alonso's McLaren flew over Charles Leclerc's Sauber, missing his head by inches, or at least it would have, if not for the Halo. The tire actually hit the Halo and bounced off. If that thing wasn't there, Charles would have been done. And just 1 week later, F1 got another terrifying reminder of how fragile life is. Marcus Ericsson lost control on the straight at Monza. His car flipped 5 times. 5. It looked like something out of a stunt movie. The car was torn apart. But Ericsson walked away. No major injury. The halo, stronger chassis, fire-resistant gear, all of it worked. But not every crash ends with a miracle. Some just leave you speechless. Let's talk about Robert Kubica. Canada, 2007, a high-speed crash that defied physics. Kubica was chasing another car, clipped a wheel, and slammed into the barrier at full speed. His car literally exploded, flipped mid-air, and hit another wall. When the wreckage stopped moving, fans were silent. This looked like a fatal crash, but somehow, he survived. Not only that, he came back 2 races later, and 1 year after the crash, he won at the exact same track. Unbelievable. And that's exactly where we're heading next. Bahrain 2020. This wasn't just a crash, it was a full-on explosion. Right after the race started, things seemed normal. But on the 3rd corner, Romain Grosjean clipped another car and veered straight into a metal barrier at over 120 miles per hour. The car didn't just crash, it split in half. The front end pierced through the barrier and instantly burst into flames. For 27 long seconds, nobody knew what happened. The fire was massive. Thick black smoke covered everything. Everyone watching thought the same thing. He's gone. Then, out of the fire, he climbed out. Grosjean escaped with burns on his hands and feet, but he survived. And let's be clear, without the halo, the fireproof gear, and the lightning-fast medical team, this would have been another tragedy. Grosjean later said he thought he was going to die in there, that he accepted it, but somehow he didn't. It was one of the scariest crashes ever broadcasted live. And you'd think that crash would be the worst of the year, but nope. Mugello 2020 happened just a few months earlier and gave us one of the wildest crashes F1 has ever seen. This one wasn't a fireball, it was a pile-up, a total mess. After a safety car period, Valtteri Bottas was controlling the pace at the front, waiting for the right moment to go full speed. But the back of the grid, they misread the timing. Some drivers gunned it thinking the race had restarted, while others were still slowing down. Within seconds, it was a full-on chain reaction. Cars slammed into each other on a straight. It looked like a highway accident. Debris flying, tires bouncing, parts scattered everywhere. 4 cars out, race red flagged, chaos. The craziest part? The FIA called it a communication issue. No one got penalized. But if you saw it live, you'd think it was a demolition derby. And just when you think drivers only crash during high-speed overtakes or heavy rain, think again. Some managed to screw up behind the safety car. Let's talk about George Russell. Imola 2020. Under the safety car, Russell was just trying to keep his tires warm. That's normal. But then, out of nowhere, he lost it. Slammed into the wall, on a straight, no other cars around. It was like the car gave up, or he just blinked at the wrong time. Either way, his shot at his first ever points with Williams was gone. Brutal. But at least Russell didn't crash into someone in the pit lane like Lewis Hamilton once did. Canada, 2008. Under the safety car, Lewis came into the pits and completely missed a red light. Kimi Raikkonen was stopped right in front of him. Lewis drove right into the back of the Ferrari like it wasn't even there. The penalty, a 10-place grid drop for the next race. The damage wiped out both their races. Next up, the ridiculous crashes that ruined reputations and careers. Nikita Mazepin. His rookie season was a disaster from the start. And the crash? It came on the first lap of the first race. No pressure, right? He barely made it a few corners before spinning out and slamming into the wall. Race over. Social media didn't hold back. People started calling him Maze Spin before the season even got going, and things didn't get better. More spins, more crashes, and more memes. He quickly became the joke of the grid. But Mazepin wasn't the only one who became a meme after a crash. Nicholas Latifi? Yeah. His moment came in Abu Dhabi, 2021. The final laps of the championship. Hamilton was leading, about to win the title. And then Latifi crashed into the wall, out of nowhere. It brought out a safety car, changed the entire race, and helped Verstappen win the championship. People were furious. Even though it wasn't on purpose, Latifi got death threats. Crazy, right? But it didn't stop there. He later crashed behind a safety car in Monaco. Literally no one around him. And still, boom, into the barriers. You can't make this stuff up. But if we're talking awkward crashes, nothing tops driving the wrong way. Yeah, Latifi did that too. In Japan, he took a wrong turn during practice, spun around on the track, and drove in the opposite direction. His excuse? The car felt strange. Right. Then there's the Stroll and Vettel incident in Malaysia 2017. The race was over. The cool-down lap had begun. Everyone was cruising back to the pits. And then, bam! Lance Stroll randomly drove into Vettel's car at walking speed and destroyed the rear suspension. You read that right. On the cool-down lap, Vettel had just finished a tough race, fought his way up to fourth, and his car got wrecked after the checkered flag. What even is that? But while some crashes are just dumb, others cause serious drama inside teams. Remember Azerbaijan 2018? Max Verstappen versus Daniel Ricciardo? Two Red Bulls going full attack on each other down the long straight. Ricciardo tried to pass, Verstappen moved under braking, and boom, both cars gone. Red Bull went from double points to double DNF in seconds, and after that, Ricciardo had enough. That crash played a big role in him leaving the team. You could feel the tension boiling all year, and that moment was the breaking point. These crashes may not have caused injuries, but they ended friendships, crushed careers, and gave teams serious headaches. Some drivers bounced back, others never recovered. Crashes like this remind us how thin the line is between control and chaos. One mistake, one bad read, and it's over. Doesn't matter how good the driver is or how fast the car is. In F1, everything can fall apart in a heartbeat. And while some of these crashes led to safety changes, others left nothing but questions. But one thing's for sure, when things go wrong in Formula 1, they go wrong fast. And the crash that haunts drivers the most is always the next one. Next.